As we know, two Israelis were tragically gunned down just yesterday, I believe, by a pro-Palestinian nut job that is actually a T-word individual, a supporter, I should say. And he was chanting Free Palestine. I made a video about that. You can go and have a watch if you like. And, well, loads of people are saying that there's a number of podcasters, conservative podcasters, even want to call them conservative. I certainly will not do that. But a number of people that I'll call bad faith individuals that have infiltrated the conservative movement that are vehemently against the likes of Israel, especially what they're trying to do in Gaza at the moment, they are being blamed. Like Candace Owens, Dave Smith, Dan Bilzerian, Hodge twins, you name it, Ian Carroll. There's a swath, Tucker Carlson, that are reportedly, as it would seem, in more favor of what the Muslim terror group Hamas is doing than the likes of Israel trying to end the terror group in Gaza and actually free the Palestinians. Because if the chant, Free Palestine, was a legitimate chant, which it's not, now it's a death and a war cry chant, and you're having a attack on home soil, no less, and on American soil, okay, that should tell you everything you need to know. Because if you listen to these bad faith individuals, podcasters, the level of hate that comes from their mouths, even yesterday, Candace Owens was saying that God's vengeance, God will have his vengeance on those that support Gaza. We're not supporting what's going on in Gaza. What we're supporting is the wipeout and the annihilation of something that you yourself should consider is wrong. That is terror. I don't want them to exist. I don't want terror to exist. Thank you very much. And neither should you. And why is it that you claim to be a Christian, but yet you're siding with evil? And you're going, oh, what's going on? The Jews are committing the G word. They're committing all these atrocities. And as a Christian, I'm gobsmacked without actually going, you know who started this? And you know who could end it straight away? The one that actually started the damn war. Oh, no, but we'll forget about that and we'll just continue to support Hamas. We'll do their bidding, won't we? Now, Candace says this: there is nothing more fake, I love this, gay, and obvious than the you have blood on your hands aimed at people who have nothing to do with a crime that has taken place because they hold a reasonable opinion about something else. What is happening in Gaza is still wrong, psychos. Then Dave Smith tacks on: we have blood on our hands for some random guy committing a terrible murder that we both condemn, but they do not have blood on their hands for a government committing tens of thousands of murders with their full support. See, these two people, they would love to have you all believe that they're right about everything. They claim to be right about everything, as it would seem. Again, I'll say, just yesterday, after I think 5 hours before the two Israelis were gunned down by a psychopath, like an actual psychopath, that was indoctrinated by the likes of exactly the same thing that you two dingbats are saying and spouting on your podcast. And what's the bet that he actually listened to your podcast to hear what you were saying? Because you are both incredibly famous. And as podcasters, you've got to be very careful with what you're saying. You have a duty of care, do you not? Douglas Murray, what are you feeding? Doesn't mean that you can't say it, just means that you probably shouldn't say it. Some things are best kept to yourself, and other things, yes, can be shared on a very, very large platform. And if they are shared on a very large platform, you need to have someone else that, because you've got these vulnerable minds out there that will do exactly what that dingbat, that psychopathic lunatic did, thinking that freeing Palestine meant to wipe out two innocent Israelis on a date. And you two, Candace Owens and Dave Smith, want to take, I'm not going to be blamed at all for anything that I was saying. Now, can you blame these two or anyone else for what that individual did? No, you can't. But you can go, you two have been spreading a vast amount of hate towards the Jewish people. So in large part, you're responsible for sharing the wrong kind of information that indoctrinates other people. And obviously this person made his own choice. He was kind of wild in that respect. But someone goes, Candace was saying that all Israel supporters deserve God's vengeance just yesterday. This morning, she said they all deserve to go to hell. It's not hard to be sane. You can have an opinion on a war without calling for death and violence to rain down on Israel supporters. And Amy Kozak goes, this is a false framing and it's disingenuous. First of all, yes, every human life is objectively equal in value. No one is disputing that. But it's also true that lives have different values subjectively. Everyone implicitly understands this. You love your children more than someone else's children, and you value your life and your children's lives more than the lives of others. The same holds true to one's extended family, friends, and community. The irony is you're constantly saying America first, that America should prioritize the lives of its citizens over other countries. So are you contradicting yourselves? Governments have a unique responsibility to prioritize the lives of their own citizens. You demand that as a standard for America, yet when Israel does it, somehow it's evil. So these Israeli embassy members on American soil, you're saying that America first, they were gunned down on American soil. So what are you going to do? It's because they're Israeli. We don't care too much about them at all. We'll condemn the attack, but we won't, call out the attacker for what he did. We won't go further than that because the person Israeli, and according to you, that's God's vengeance for two Israelis being gunned down and killed on US soil, is it? Having said that, morality is not determined by simply a numbers game. The two Bibas children that were intentionally kidnapped and murdered is morally much worse than the multiples of Palestinians who were killed unintentionally in an attempt to rescue them. And guess what? The culprit in both cases was the same, Hamas. And you do no one any favors, Palestinian or Israel, by absolving them or agency or accountability. Every life has equal value, but not every culture equally values life. I love what he said because what he said is true. Not every culture is the same. Not every person values life the way you or I values life. And that is a huge difference. Hamas does not value life. If we're going to go around passing the blame, we should pass the blame straight to Hamas. But then more than that, we should also pass the blame to our education system, social media, the lies that are being spread around, and also these bad faith individuals that are continuously spreading it. Because they won't really take a stance, will they? Their stance is myself. What I want, what I see as objectionably right. But in reality, it's wrong. They only want to side with the Muslim group. They'll contradict themselves. There's hypocrisy in the mix. They're very clever, aren't they? And you've got to be very, very careful. I do my best to call it out for the way I see it. To look at what Jesus said. You guys know that. I'm not saying that I get it right all the time because I know I get it wrong. Perhaps I have got it wrong today or even about this issue. But I think we should blame this entire thing on lies, deceit, terror, you name it. And these podcasters should get their backsides in line and realize, hey, maybe I should be very, very careful with what I say, because it could happen to anyone. But the Israeli people are suffering persecution at the hands of people in the West. That should not happen. You guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.